So I'm gonna play. Decided to make this presentation because I'm gonna play Zero Time Dilemma, and the two previous games, 999 or 9 doors, 9 hours, 9 persons, some iteration of that, and Virtue's Last Reward. Their plot makes like no sense. I would say, yeah, I would say no sense. I would say it's a little confusing. You know, like the games is part of a series of games where you play. Through it's a visual novel, but you also have escape rooms, and you can divide up, you know, the plot line takes different directions based on the decisions you make. And when I say different directions, I'm talking different directions. This is for 999, the first game we'll talk about. It's got, you know, it's not that many endings. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 endings, okay? Not that bad. It's not that bad, 6 endings, but there's a lot of different directions you can go, even if they end up taking you eventually to the same ending. There's a lot of directions, a lot of information to take. And then all of this goes out of the fucking window when you hit Virtue's Last Reward, because this game's got like 20 endings. You know, just a cool, casual, nice and easy 20 endings. Very easy to keep track of everything that happens. You know, so I thought, let's make a PowerPoint presentation where I summarize a little bit of the plot of the games and tell you what are the main takeaways so that we can play the last game of the series and you can know what the fuck is going on. So 999, first game by Uchikochi, all of them done by Uchikochi. Game starts by you being kidnapped by Zero, who's this mysterious masked person. Zero kidnaps you. You wake up in what seems to be a ship. You're in like some fucking cabin in a ship, and you immediately gotta like solve a puzzle. It's an escape room to get out. It introduces you to the escape room mechanic. Once you get out, you notice you've got a bracelet. You meet all of the other passengers on board. You find out there's several people on board, and you get like a message from Zero, who's the person who kidnapped you. They tell you gotta find the 9th door to escape, and that you got 9 hours to get there, or else the ship's gonna blow up or something. I don't know. Something's gonna happen. I don't remember exactly, but you die. Oh my god, a bracelet, he takes care of you. Anyway, you get into you immediately get put into a situation where, you know, different combinations of bracelets open different doors, right? So the game takes advantage of a digital root system. I'm not going to explain much about the digital root system. It's just, it gets explained plenty of times in the game if you decide to play it, and I don't know if it's going to be relevant in the next one, but it uses that to be able to create different combinations of people that go through different doors on the way to search for the 9th door. That's how you create, you know, different pathways in the plot, okay? And that's how you get led to this. So you can see the doors are numbered. So you create combinations with everyone gets like a different numbered bracelet, and you go through a different door. That's about it for like how the plot starts and how you start off in the game. Your character doesn't really know what they're doing. I'm gonna talk about them. So we got Junpei. That's who you play as. He doesn't really know what the fuck is going on. He just wakes up on a ship. He knows one person though, and that's Akane, who's like a childhood friend of his, and that's just about the like only, you know, thing you know is happening, is that you know Akane and Akane knows you. Everyone's pretty confused about why they're here. You've got Ace, who's this like old guy, kind of plays it cool for most of the game. You've got forgot her name, Lotus. We're just talking about her. We got Lotus, who's a mother of 2 kids. You don't really find out too much about her until like pretty late on in some of the plots. You got Clover and Snake, who are brothers, siblings, whatever. You got Seven, who's a amnesiac police detective, remembers parts of his story as he goes on. Awful Clover pick. Let me tell you, like, I had this, like, I put him in order as I like got through them on their pages, and Clover was like the second or the third, so I had her like in the middle. And I remember, no, I'm putting her in a corner. I'm putting her in a corner. Anyway, and then you got Santa, who's just like an asshole to you most of the game. He's just an asshole in general. That's like his personality. Not much else you know about him. Anyway, that's about the characters. What's important is like, what are the takeaways from the game? So as you're playing, you learn the nonary game has happened in the past. So not only that, every character that's in this game with you is somehow involved with the previous nonary games. For example, one of Lotus's kids was in the nonary games. Snake was in the nonary games. Clover was involved in nonary games, and Seven is like the police detective that finds the kids. She was the one who's tracking them because all these kids got kidnapped. Anyway, when the game happens, you find out that also Ace and some other guys were involved in orchestrating the game, and that's why he's here. You find out that Akane and Santa are brother and sister, and that they've been playing you for the entire game, because Akane is actually Zero, and here's where it starts getting like very contrived. I don't know. It gets way more complicated, because the whole game they keep telling you about these the morphogenic fields, and how the morphogenic fields like allow people to transmit information to others, and there's people who are transmitters and there's people who are receivers. So the whole game's talking about that, and that's how it like, that was what the whole experiment was originally meant to like test, was these kids' abilities to transmit information to each other. At the same time, you learn that not only can our character receive and transmit information, Junpei can like receive and send it through time. And this whole time, we've been actually solving puzzles because Akane from the past, who ran the same game, has been sending us how to solve all of the puzzles, and she's been the one who like gets us out of things. At the same time, right? They keep showing us snippets of the old game and the old experiment. You find out that Akane was actually alone in the final escape room, and she had to escape on her own, and she couldn't do it. What happens is that Akane, as a kid, receives information on how to solve the final puzzle from Junpei, us playing the game. So we solve the final puzzle for Akane to get out. And the reason the whole game is orchestrated is so that Akane can even live the second game. Because if this game doesn't happen, Akane doesn't exist. And, you know, that's explained in some of the endings. You piece that together with some of the endings. What's a main takeaway from this game? Information can be transmitted to other people, but also information can be transmitted through time. It doesn't have set like insane impacts in the game, like it drives the main plot, but it doesn't get crazy until you get to the next game. Virtue's Last Reward is where they take the whole timeline shit and go crazy. So Virtue's Last Reward, you start as it's very similar start. You get kidnapped by a mysterious figure, you know, hooded guy, masked, Zero, whatever. You get kidnapped. You wake up. This time you're in an elevator. You don't really know where you are. And you're not alone though. You're with this girl named Phi, who somehow knows your name already. Okay? That's like, it eventually makes sense pretty quickly. Makes sense relatively quickly why she knows your name. But she already knows your name. You get out of the first escape room, you meet up with all the others, you know, same deal. So far the games, if you're playing, you're thinking, oh, this is just 9992. Easy. You get to meet the other people. You find out that there's a second thing to this game. So not only do they have the escape rooms and the visual novel part where you make decisions, you get to play the prisoner's dilemma after every section of escape rooms. So Prisoner's Dilemma is very quickly, where you get put against someone else in isolated rooms, and you can choose to ally or betray them. And different things happen, depending on who betrays and who allies. So if both of you ally, you gain points. If you betray and they ally, you gain more points than you would if both allied. However, if both of you betray, none of you gets points. And if you ally and they betray, you lose points. You also get given bracelets in this game, like in the other one, but this time the bracelets are more to keep track of. They also keep track of who you can team up with for different challenges, but they keep track of how many points you got. And if you go down below 0, you die. If you hit 0 or lower, you die. And if you hit 9, you can escape the game. So that's the main premise. Let's talk about the characters. So we're playing Sigma. Once again, we don't really know what we're doing here, why we're kidnapped. Classic stuff. All we know about Sigma is that he very explicitly can retain information from other timelines, specific information from other timelines. And that's like very significant because one of the recurring, it'll recur a lot during the AB games, the ambidextrous games, where you get to ally with someone, and if they betray you, you go like, well, I'm gonna go back and see and do something else. So they're like the gamer, really. Sigma's the gamer. Phi, girl who's in the first contestant or experiment, whatever, victim, because they're almost victims. You meet, she's in the first AB. She's the first AB room, and we know that she can also retain information from other timelines. So eventually you find out that she also retains information, which means that she's also a gamer. You've got Kay, who not only is a permanently, masked up, suited up guy, looks like he could be a robot. He's also amnesiac. So really, just who the fuck is Kay? You don't know anything about this guy. You got Quark, who's a child. I don't know why a child is here, and I don't know why he's wearing this hat, but that's that. You got Alice, who's actually, you'll remember if you play 999, they keep talking about a character who's like some Egyptian priestess, I don't know, and she was like frozen or whatever, and Alice is like a reference to that. So, hey, Pudding. Alice is like a reference to that. Clover, yeah, Clover, you heard me right. This is Clover. If you thought you aged badly, look at Clover. I don't even know what the fuck is going on with this character. It's the same Clover, which means she's actually participated in 3 nonary games. So actually, kind of feel bad for her because she's been in 3 of these. You got Luna, who's just honestly at the start of the game, all you know is that she's a nice lady. That's it. Nice lady. And that's it. And then nice nurse lady. Yeah, that's all you really know about her. You got Tenmyoji. Tenmyoji, actually Junpei, I'll just say it. He's Junpei. That's who he is. So from he's the protagonist of the first game. And then you got Dio, who's this game's asshole. Okay? Now, you might be thinking, hold on a second. Clover and Junpei are in the same game, same time. Why does Clover look like she's 14? And why does Tenmyoji or Junpei look like they're 70? Yeah, that gets like explained, sort of. No, it gets pretty well explained. So some of the main takeaways in this game uses a lot of plot, gets very complicated very fast, and I didn't even bother getting more screenshots of the game because there's no point really. At the end of the game, they show you this to explain that like there's different timelines, and not only does your character and Phi retain information from different timelines, they can actually send their entire consciousness to themselves in the past, or in the future, which is a huge deal, because you learn that you are actually young. You are young Sigma this whole game, but you've been in the body of old Sigma this whole time. And you didn't even know that. You only learned this at the very, very end of the game, that you were in the body of old Sigma this whole game. which puts a lot of context into why people think you're very creepy and very weird for most of the game. Not only that, the game also uses like some references to quantum mechanics, like Schrodinger's cat, where you only really know the outcome of an experiment until you like observe it. They also talk about how your actions can influence independent events. So independent events influence each other, and this is tested with the ambidextrous games, where, for example, you'll betray someone or you'll ally with someone. It happens in the game, and you find out they betray you, and you get shocked. You're like, "What the fuck? We're all gonna ally. What's going on?" When you replay that scene, you choose, let's see what happens when I betray, because they're gonna betray me already. You betray them, and you find out they allied, and now they're the ones who are shocked, and you're also shocked because your character's like, last time, technically, you betrayed me. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Jesse, what the fuck are you talking about? You know? So there's some, like, the plot can be hard to track because of the, I would say, quantumness of it. I studied physics. It's very convoluted. I studied physics, but it doesn't really add up. In any case, here's the main takeaways. We can upload our consciousness to the past or to the future, right? And the whole point of the game was to create a Sigma that could run the nonary games again, because you're young Sigma playing these nonary games, right? You play through this whole thing. Yeah, the perfect Sigma male. And once you finish the game, you're gonna go back to your young self, and you're gonna have to make the games. You're gonna have to make with the knowledge you got. So you're gonna run them alongside, who is it? Akane. Yes, that's right. She's back. I didn't even get a screenshot, but she's back in the game. I'm not sure how she eventually got involved, but she did. And you find out that the whole reason you need to go back, or you need to, like, why are we doing this? Why are we running these games as well? Is because Sigma participates in a version of these nonary games where a virus breaks out. It's called Radical 6. Very topical. Very, very topical. Worldwide pandemic. Fucking ruins the planet. Leads to eventually like an apocalyptical scenario. It's pretty bad. And we're basically creating the perfect Sigma that has the exact perfect knowledge to, when he's old, upload his consciousness back to young Sigma who's about to play in that game. Right? Young Sigma. But instead of having the consciousness of, you know, himself, he has old guy consciousness. So he's like, well, way more informed, way more overpowered, knows everything that's going to happen, you know, and that's how he's going to play the game. You also know that Phi is in that game, and she's also the other person who's going to be doing this with you, so she also gets her consciousness uploaded. And the reason why young Sigma is in the body of old Sigma to begin with at this game is because they have to swap. So when you send your consciousness to another version of yourself, they have to swap because, you know, they gotta go somewhere. But yeah, that's it. And then after that, they very strongly hint that the third game's gonna happen, and that's what we're gonna play. If you have questions, I have them too, so I can't really help much, but that's it. Wait, where are we in the ZTD timeline? What do you mean, where are we in the ZTD timeline? Oh, for the graph? 1 second. It's at the Nevada test site. So we're here. We're here on 2028. Yeah. Thank you for I'm gonna have to edit this video now.